the ECB, the English and Wales Cricket Board, we all think we know it. Do you want to just give a touch of the governing bodies, what they do, what they're about, and just a bit about where you are on that journey, we're supporting you on. Can you give us a bit about that?
Yeah, sure. I'd love to. Thanks, John. So the ECB is the governing body for cricket in England and Wales, and was founded in 1997. And we're based at Lords. We're owned by our 41 members, comprising 18 first-class counties and 21 non-first class. That's 39 counties in all. As a governing body, we're responsible for the professional game, which in addition to the usual stuff around safeguarding, managing players, tournaments and events, we also work hard on team performance, which includes running a leading edge performance centre at Loughborough, where we share resources with the university. We also look after the recreational game, where we govern and support 6,000 plus clubs in England and Wales, and a few in Scotland now actually. Sponsoring and nurturing grassroots of the game, which includes creating the All-Stars and recent Dynamos programme to ignite and increase participation of young players, and both boys and girls. We also work hard to grow our income streams, which includes our strategy over the next few years to bring cricket direct to the consumer, as it's likely we may not be able to rely on the likes of the BBC and Sky to do this for us and continue to pay us handsomely, of course. So let me just give you an insight into the technology we use, which is relevant here, and Torsion. We embraced cloud computing and hosting services a few years ago, which included moving to Office 365 and SharePoint, which we completed towards the end of 2019. And this allowed us to move seamlessly over to the new way of working when COVID hit. In fact, we ran a company-wide remote working day on Friday the 13th of March, where everybody worked from home or wherever they wanted to work away from the office. And of course, COVID hit and we didn't return. And this went really smoothly. And of course, we in technology are really proud of that. But needless to say, we didn't get any thanks from that from the business. They just got on. But hey ho, that's the world of IT and technology. Hopefully, you can all now appreciate the ECB is a very dispersed organisation, people working all over the UK, plus partner organisations in the UK and around the world. And we deal with large volumes of sensitive information pertaining to players, organisers, communities, sponsors and other stakeholders. And as a result, our information estate and who needs access to what information is complex and difficult to track. And just to say, we have a plethora of security layers that protect us, of course, but all of this doesn't take away the fact that, as we all know, people are the weakest link, just as Peter was saying earlier, which brings me on to nicely why we needed Torsion. So as you know, moving to remote working increased the use of Teams exponentially, plus everything we do now being shared using SharePoint and OneDrive. So just all the things that Peter was saying just there. And understanding how we collaborate and share information has been a worry for me since we moved over to cloud-based working at the end of 2019. Now, working with my predecessor, Damien Smith, we decided to embrace the Microsoft technology stack, which includes a new suite of security tools, which we needed to implement. And this has not been easy, and we're not there yet, but even when we are, I still have that worry about how to manage and audit the sharing of confidential files. So I shared my concerns with BlueSource, who advised me that I should look at Torsion. And when I first saw it, I was very impressed, not only by its capabilities, but also by how intuitive it appeared to be, and easily integrated into SharePoint and OneDrive. And hopefully you saw some of that there with Peter's demonstration. So I agreed to the evaluation of the product with BlueSource and the people at Torsion who helped too. And the project kicked off with a workshop facilitated by BlueSource and Torsion. And we clarified the specific requirements for this initial stage, which was to engage the business and data governments and sort of democratization of data, data security, getting control of who has access to what, and controlling external sharing. So it's back to that again, what Peter just highlighted there, the external sharing, the big concern for me. So we then agreed the project plan, decided that rather than switching on all the features, we would just apply the ownership and certify engagement pillar, which allows us to see who has access to what and provide the reporting for site owners and IT. The next step was to connect Torsion system to our Office 365, and that was very straightforward, as Peter said. And once we, the IT team, were familiar, we decided to roll out to 3 departments initially, which included running a requirements workshop to capture and understand the business information requirements they needed. The Torsion solution was then configured for them, user comms distributed to all the players. And then what we did then was switch Torsion on, and it did just as Peter showed you there. It kind of switched on basically this sharing and security menu item, but it also leaves the native sharing tools there. So if users still wish to use them, they can. So perfect for us. And the initial feedback has been great. So we're now about to push this out to the whole company. So finally, just to say, an example of how this made an immediate impact, enabling users to apply. So how it made an immediate impact was it enabled users to apply their own time limits on sharing files and easily get reports on who has access to what in their site, which is not easily done in native SharePoint. And why this has become important is that, for example, we're about to launch the new 100 competition, and this has required working with even more external partners. And I had staff asking me, how can they manage temporary shares more easily? And Torsion has made this a simple task. So the next step for us is, once the season is over, we're going to work with the site owners to ensure they're using the reports to manage access and sharing efficiently. And then we'll begin plans to sort of look to the next steps of the other 2 pillars, which is classifying, governing, access automation. So finally, I'd just like to say we found the whole experience very positive and a successful one. And I think I can now sleep a little easier.
Thanks, Graeme. It's good to hear that. I think the takeaways we have is it's to help you on that. You can't boil the ocean. You've got to focus right down on the core aspects of what's keeping you awake at night. You know, distill those, document those, and then you get the business on side with you as well. But if you're trying to do all of it, so your approach is, I think, you know, is paying dividends hopefully as well. So Graeme, listen, it's great to hear that.